Hey everyone, it's Adrienne Pessel. Today's topic is buyer consultations. I want to teach you how to help buyers, and it doesn't matter if they're first time home buyers or if they bought before. As a buyer's agent, you know that it's rarely simple and it's not always straightforward. For most people, this is one of the largest investments they'll make. Like always, these consultations are not a monologue. They're not of you just speaking at them. It's a conversation. It's about you listening to them, taking notes, guiding them through the piles of paperwork and the endless choices of strategies and inspections. You owe it to your buyers to do it right. Partner with them. Be their sounding board. Just don't be another person with a lockbox key. I'm going to go through my presentation with you, and since there isn't another buyer on the other side, I'm going to insert some commentary. My buyer presentation usually takes me 30 to 40 minutes. I'm doing it for you in 10, knowing that you're already familiar with the terms that we will be discussing. So here we go. Thanks for coming in today. I'm going to go over with you the entire buying process, the steps that you'll need to be aware of, and more importantly, the things you need to avoid. I use this PowerPoint presentation because buying a home is rarely simple and not always straightforward. It makes sure that I go through all the topics and responsibilities that are involved in buying a home. If you have any questions or concerns, just ask and we can talk about them and easily know where we left off. And you get the knowledge that you need. Even if you purchased a house before, I promise you will gain some more insight into the process. And we'll make sure that you're aware of any of the new rules or regulations that have occurred since you purchased. This is our company's footprint. We're based in Virginia, Maryland, and DC. If you or someone you know needs help outside our area, I have a network of agents that I can reach out to and help you find a really strong agent. Let's start with you sharing with me what you want in a home. So if I had a magic wand and I can make your ideal home just happen just like that, what would it look like? What would it feel like? The price range? The timing? Anything you can think of. And I'm going to take some notes while you tell me. Okay, from that list, what are your non-negotiables? You know, the things that it doesn't matter, you can't live without. An example would be you want an easy commute, 30 minutes or less. Or you have several dogs and you want a fenced-in backyard. We're going to make sure that they stay a priority. Have you thought about your monthly payment? What are you comfortable with? What are you currently paying now in your monthly bills? What I'd like to do is get you with a lender. I'll give you 2 or 3 names, and your loan officer will be able to give you many more options. They're going to take into account your credit score, your down payment, your work history, and they're going to give you hard numbers. Remember, rates matter, especially if you're planning on keeping this home for a while. Rates are so low right now. The difference between buying a house at 3 versus 5% is huge. If you're buying like a $400,000 house, the difference between the monthly payment is like $460. And not to mention over 30 years, it's $165,000 more worth of interest you pay. I have some awesome tools which will allow you to search for houses without having your name and information sold to a third party. It interfaces directly with our MLS system. It's a service we provide, and it's called Real Scout. You can use it to set up searching and email alerts. I also have a product called HomeBeat. It's another tech service that I use. And what we do, we use this when you're considering a home that you want to put an offer in on. It gives you an easy way to view side-by-side comps to help you get a true value of what the neighborhood is doing. I want to make sure that we don't miss anything. I will have my own Bright MLS auto email search. You will be CC'd on that. This way, as the searches come in, I'm going to be monitoring that, checking it, tweaking it a little bit because I want to make sure we don't miss anything. At the bottom of the MLS email alerts, there is a section where you can use a mortgage calculator. So you could see how much a particular house is and what the monthly payments are based on the taxes that are for that house. Okay, so now you found the house that you like, and you're saying, how do I know if this is it? How do I negotiate a contract for myself? How can I protect myself? What's the history of this community? Does it have good resale value? Can I use it as a rental later? I'll share with you my 31 years of experience, my market research, and together we'll come up with a strategy so you can feel comfortable in moving forward. When you open up negotiations with a seller, this is your opportunity to highlight your strengths, to negotiate something that you want. Let's say that you're very flexible with your move-in date, and the seller needs a specific date because their new house is going to be built. You can leverage your flexibility to get something you really want. Negotiations comes in all shapes and sizes. It's just not about price. It's about terms, it's about settlement date, it's about down payment, it's everything wrapped into one. As you can see, knowledge, research, communication all plays a role in negotiations. There are 7 major steps in the process. As we get closer to each step, I will go in more details. But for right now, I just want to hit the high points. If you look over here to the right, I have some big green money symbols. These are the usual times in which you're going to need money. The first time is when you make formal loan application. This is different from checking into one or two different lenders for rate quotes and general counseling. This amount is going to be for your full credit report. It may vary from lender to lender. The second time you're going to need money is when you actually want to put an offer in on a home. This is called your earnest money deposit, often referred to as your EMD money. Basically, it's putting your money where your mouth is, telling the seller that you were earnest in putting an offer in on their property. The amount varies depending on your jurisdictions, could be as minimal as $1,000, but up to 3% of the sales price. The higher amounts of your earnest money deposit usually relate to the market conditions. So if you're in a seller's market, the EMD money is usually higher. Once your offer is accepted by the seller, that's the third time that money is going to be due. You're going to be paying for your appraisal to the lender, having your home inspections done, and any other contract work that you'll be hiring. You will also start shopping for your homeowner's insurance. If a home inspection is made part of your contract and you have a contingency and the report comes back and there are many repairs and you and the seller cannot come to an agreement of who pays for what, then you have the opportunity to declare the contract null and void, and then all deposits will be returned. So after you get through your inspections, there's still some more hurdles to get through. You have to get through the appraisal, the proof of funds, loan approval, homeowner's insurance, HOA, and POA. Once all this is done, then it's settlement time. This usually occurs anywhere from 30 to 60 days after your contract is ratified. As you can see here, there's a lot of moving parts. We want to make sure that everybody does their job. That is my job, is to be the glue that holds it all together. Because if one person doesn't do their share of the duties, guess what? We're going to be delayed, or if not, the contract can fall apart. Settlement time is the next time that you're going to need money. You need to make sure you're going to have the balance of the funds needed to go to settlement. So one of the things we want to make sure is that wherever your source of funds are coming from, that needs to be liquidated in enough time for the money to be wired into the settlement attorney's account. The day that you close on your house, you'll be signing a lot of paperwork, and I mean a lot of paperwork. I want to mention a few documents you're going to be signing just to get you familiar with them. But the day of settlement, the settlement attorney will review all the paperwork in detail and answer any questions that you have. The buyer closing disclosure, the ALTA, the note, the deed of trust, and the deed, most people would consider these are the most important documents you'll be signing. But I want to go over a little bit about the buyer closing disclosure and how important that is for you to get that in a timely manner prior to settlement. The federal government created Know Before You Owe law. Basically, it's a consumer protection agency making sure buyers know what their fees are prior to settlement, so there's no surprises when you get to the settlement table. As you can see from the chart, if your closing is scheduled for a Monday, you need to get your closing disclosure by the Thursday before it. There is no negotiations on this. If your lender misses the date and does not get you the documents that Thursday before, settlement will be delayed. As you can see, having a trusted and reliable lender is key critical. If the lender does not get you the documents in time, settlement will be delayed, or worse, you could be in default of the contract. There isn't any negotiation on this. As I said earlier, that's why my job is being the glue that keeps it all together. Let's look at an ALTA statement. The ALTA statement is the checks and balances. What you owe, what the seller owes, what credits you have, and what the seller's credits are. We want to make sure that they all balance out and that you get credit for everything that you have paid. This is where you will also see the credit from your earnest money deposit going towards your loan and your down payment. I'd like to go over agency law with you. There are two types of real estate representations. One is a buyer agent and the other is a seller's agent. In order to create awareness so buyers understand who represents who, all agents work for the seller unless they have a written agreement to work otherwise, what we call a buyer agency agreement. In order to help you maneuver through the maze of buying a home, or as I said earlier, to be the glue that keeps it all together, we would need to enter into a buyer agreement. As you can see from my 5-star reviews and the wonderful thank you notes that I've gotten from past clients, I take great pride in helping buyers. My philosophy of business has always been for the knowledge you need and the service you deserve. So why don't we go ahead and take a little bit of time and go through all the paperwork. I really do hope you found this video helpful. If you have any comments, please post them below, and please remember to subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.